When
Hey guys, welcome back. Today, one of the things we're going to do, only because I just did one this weekend on a client, and there is a technique to it. She wanted another spiral perm, and her hair was almost to her waist. Now we know that when you do a spiral, when you do any perm, the bond is the strongest bond that you're going to make, that you're going to break to make the change. To take that hair from straight to curly. And that's the hydroxide bond. That's the strongest bond in the hair. So if I would have gone and spiral wrapped it the way it's normally done, where all the hair is on spiral wraps, and you can see that this is a little bit wider section. Almost the same width as the rod. Now there's a reason for this. Now, just hang on a minute, I'm going to show you. But when we wrap a spiral perm, normally we're going to take about, and you've seen my other video, about half that, and then wrap up into it. That's a virgin spiral. But when they go in, their hair, more than likely, is only, they usually come back in when it's, hers was about a good 6 inches, maybe 7 inches away from the scalp, and the rest still had curl. Held the curl real nice. I was surprised because she really, the quality of her hair said that it would. She kind of had medium textured hair, so it wasn't like really coarse, thick hair. But the biggest thing was, how do we take this hair and spiral it and keep this hair healthy? Keep this hair that already has curl in it and break that strongest bond again without really jacking up her hair and causing more tangles, more problems for her. So this is where the piggyback spiral comes in. And what you're going to do, and what I've done here, you notice that there's 2 color rods. Okay, these are the exact rods I used on her. She just had a pretty, about a white rod size, but when it's longer hair, the weight of the longer hair is going to pull that curl. So what I did at the scalp, I used a gray rod. Away from the scalp, the piggyback, I used a white rod because that is already permed. That's already done, and it was about the size of a white rod. But I do know that the weight of the hair is going to pull this gray rod curl size into a white rod size. If I did it all white, there would be 2 complications. See, when I go to saturate it, I'm just going to saturate the gray rods. Does it mean that it's not going to drip on the white? No, it will. And possibly when I'm going over or whatever, I may get some on the white, but I'm not necessarily soaking it or, really saturating it. I might touch it with it to refresh it, but that's it. So anyways, if you take it, now there's a technique to doing this wrap, and this is my synthetic hair mannequin. I'm going to leave this overnight. We'll probably finish this video tomorrow because I hate working with synthetic hair. These to me were, I want to say they were just a waste of money because they do nothing. They stay straight. You can put rollers on them. They don't do it. The only thing I could do with this is maybe give a short bob haircut. I have to keep saturating it, which is annoying because normally I don't saturate each rod as I do it. I saturate the hair enough, as you see me doing it, this is just a habit, so that it's consistently wet. Now what I'm going to do, I'm only going to come out 1/3 of the way. See how much more I've got here. So I'm only coming out 1/3 of the way. So this hair, the 7 inches, is going to be permed to the scalp vertically. So it's going to spiral. The point is, this hair that's getting permed is only 7 inches. Let's pretend that the rest of this is already curly. But there is a technique. We are going to be saturating the other 1/3. 1/3, 2/3, full length, or 3/3, whatever. But I've separated the hair as far as wrapping it into those 1/3 situations, which is what you would do. So on the first one, I'm going to place, I want to make sure you see this. And I'm going to use a gray rod. And I always make sure that my band is down. If it's up while you're trying to wrap, that band is going to get in the way. So make sure it's down. All right, so I'm going to place it. Now watch what I'm doing. I'm going to take that 1/3, turn it once. Take that 1/3, turn it again. Take that 1/3, turn it. See how I'm wrapping both at the same time. Turn it, and then go the last final 1/3. And I hate these mannequins because the hair is real slippery and it will slide out if I'm not careful with it. Now, when you get to the ends on the last third, it might be a little bit longer, but still, we got part of that middle in there. I'm going to do my paper lengthwise. Did you notice I just bookended on the first one? This one is bookend, but it's lengthwise. The reason for that, hair tends to break. You end up having, a variety of layers. Now, this one is going to be wrapped with a white rod, and I'm just going to spiral it, just like I normally would. Now, see what I'm talking about, layers. So, of course, some of you that know this, you know you do this. You just get another end paper, put it on there, and spiral it in. Take it right to it, and make sure that band is in there. Now, another thing you could do if you wanted to, on the gray ones, you could put a pick on there so that they're close. And I may have them picked later on when we come back. Haven't decided that yet. It just depends on how much trouble it's going to give me. If it gives you a lot of trouble, it's not worth it. You can see that they're gray. You can see that that's what you need to saturate, more so than if you should saturate the white. Okay, let me do it again. Okay, I'm just coming out about 1/3 of the way. See that? It's 1/3 of the way. There you go. So, and this time I'm going to bookend it in this form. I'm going to take it, band down, place it. Is my hand in the way, cameraman? Because I want to make sure that you see it. You see this?
Yeah.
Wrap it around, turn it. Wrap it around, turn it. Wrap it around. You see, I'm actually doing 2 wraps at one time. The mid area, the belly of the hair, and then closer to the scalp. Turn it. Wrap, turn, and hold them both at the same time. Get that close to the scalp. And this one's trying to give me some problems there. Yeah, this synthetic hair just slides right out if you don't watch it, and I hate it. But it's a way to teach you a procedure. Oh, by the way, my book just fell. But I hope you guys got the book. I've been amazed at the comments I'm getting on some, friends that have bought it and stuff. And the area of color on that last chapter is extreme. I have now, what's funny is I have friends I'm talking to that have got my book, and we're talking about color, and we're both speaking the same language. And it's not product, it's color. So that's pretty cool, to do that. So anyways, you see that? So I've got the one and I've got the other one right next to it. All of them are standing vertically. Be careful that you don't turn the rod horizontal, because if you do, it will flip over. So try and get them as vertical as you can. So I'm going to come over, let's see, maybe I should do this side. No, I'll do this side first. I think that will be a little more clear for you. But you see that I'm doing them. My sections are the length of the rod. So instead of having all these different lengths, I'm using less rods, and your time is money in our industry. You've got to be able to do things in a timely manner. Can you do a regular perm like this? Yeah, you can. Just do them all gray or all white or whatever you're going to do if it's a virgin perm. Because it's the same thing. You're going to have it right there close to the scalp, and what? The hair that's being wrapped is shorter, and so is the belly coming up into it. So see, I've wet this several times, and now it's just totally dry again. So that's, anytime that you do a perm as well, I see people saturate each rod, every paper, every rod, get the whole thing wet. Quit messing around with each rod. With these synthetic mannequins, it's a little harder because they don't hold the moisture. All right, so I'm going to start here, and the width, yes, is the same width as the perm rod. So, get my gray perm rod, it's the same width. There you go. You can see it better there. It's a little bit wider on this side. I'll take some out. There you go. So, just one bookend. Hold it up, hold it. Again, you're going to place the rod underneath. See it? There it is. Turn both. Turn both. See, I'm turning it at the same time on the bottom. Getting closer. The one mistake that's made is a lot of people just lay this down. Well, if you lay it down, you're making it straight. Don't lay it down. You have to turn it with it. You have to put that curl in there with it. And you want to get as close to your line as you can. Your section, in other words, your section line. But see how the synthetic hair just tries to slide right out. It makes me nuts, man. I hate these synthetic hair mannequins. But this is the only one that I've got that's really long. So there you go, and you can see that this is slightly layered. So I'm going to put it lengthwise. And yes, I'm rolling it. I'm going to put my arm up so you can see. I'm rolling it in the same direction. Can you roll it in the opposite direction? Yes, and that's not wrong. Okay, now see that? See those loose hairs coming out? Okay, I'm going to roll it back. And I hate this. It's already dry. It's annoying. This just takes up more of your time, and your time is money in this industry. There you go. Again, vertically, put it in there, and it's done. All right, so I'll do one more for you. I'll demonstrate it. Then I'm going to, we're going to cut off, and when you come back, I'll be starting the top to show you how to do that as well. All right, and there's a variety of ways that we can do it. The top is where the longest hair is at, because on this mannequin we did the V cut. So this center occipital, center crown right by the vertex is the longest point. So it's going to be even longer than this. So I'm going to have to be reaching way up. So I may have to do a double piggyback on that to make it successful. We'll just have to see. You know, in other words, leave another layer out and piggyback it again. Put two of them on there instead of just the one. So I would still do it gray, and then I would do white. So, you know, get real about it, because especially more so if it's a virgin perm. If it's a retouch, now you could probably still do it with the two and not worry about it. But on virgin perm, you want to get it all the way down to the ends. So you may have to piggyback it twice. So I'll show you how to do that. And by the way, I did check my hair, made sure I didn't have anything peeking up or split. You know, I got to share with you, I'm not, again, you know, I've said it before, this isn't fancy. I don't mean it to be fancy. I'm here to teach you. I want you to get this. I'd rather see you do it right, watching the procedure and ignoring the little peacock that I have on the back of my head that we don't notice once in a while. But, you know, get this information. This is good information for you. What I may do too, when I'm finished, I may just saturate it. So I'm just going to saturate it with water, because the plastic isn't going to do anything. All right. So I'll saturate it with water to show you how to move them over and how possibly these can capture that. or maybe lightly saturate it one time just to refresh it, just to pop it back in a little bit. But remember, it is going to be just a little bigger anyways. The weight of the hair is going to make the gray rod stretch. The curl's going to stretch just a little more. All right, so I'll see you in a little bit. I'll have this finished and then I'll show you how to do the top. Okay?
Go.
Okay, so you can see that I've got these done, and you see it's just basically one row, another row, instead of stack, 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 stack. When you piggyback it, you're doing the same thing. The best part about a piggyback spiral is that you're saving, I mean, especially if it's a re-perm. Now, I did end up with one that, like I said, right here at the center, because this is the longest point. It was a V cut, if you recall. So you see I've got the rod, I've got the white one, and what I did, I put a short one so that I know that I've got 3 of them on there. Here's the other factor that you might be thinking about, do we roll them both in the same direction? Yeah, these 2 are rolled in the same direction right here. See, it lays on top of it. These 2, this is rolled in this direction, the one on top is rolled the opposite direction. So they're going to lay next to each other. That's the only difference. That's the variable. Are you changing the curl? Not necessarily, because when we spiral, if you were to spiral all of it, you wouldn't know what direction they took it in when they did it in the first place. So when we saturate this, I was going to saturate it, but this mannequin will not hold water. It'll be dripping all over the place. You're going to pick it up and you're going to saturate just the gray ones. You can see them. All right, you're just going to saturate the gray ones. That's why you use both. Then, once those are saturated, you may do 1 stroke on the others just to refresh it. You don't need to saturate it, you just need to lightly mist it, I guess it would be. So, when I get ready to do the top, now see, you see I've had that all bunched up. Now what would happen if I had regular hair bunched up? It wouldn't be straight like this, would it? It would be all wiggly. So that's, I mean, I hate these mannequins. I bought it because I thought, wow, what a great price, and then I didn't realize it was synthetic hair. So I'm going to take this really long piece right here, and again, you see it's just going to be perm rod size. That's it. If this is really wide, or if they've got, like, let's say they've got pretty coarse hair, because this is where it's going to show. This is where you're going to want the volume. This is where you want to see the curl. You might split it in half and go ahead and splurge on that and take 2. Because this is just a mannequin, synthetic hair mannequin. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm showing you procedure. But so when I'll be turning it around to do the other, but all of them would be, of course, going back from here, forward here, so that, because it's going to fall forward. If I do it back, it's going to fall forward. So, and I'll show it to you. But anyways, here's this really long piece, right? And let me get it all really wet for you. Let's see, if I were to wet human hair like this, it would stay wet for a little while. All right, so I'm going to take just 1/3 of it. Place this. Now this is kind of a triangle section right there because it's that circular motion. Take a gray rod. Now here's another question you might have. Do I start from the top or do I start from the bottom? On this one, I'll start from the top. You see how that's traveling down? So it doesn't matter where you start. So I'm going to go ahead and finish it. Oh, see it start. I hate these. Okay, let me do it again. That's why I hate these synthetic ones, because they fight you. I need to drop this down a bit. So cameraman, I want to make sure you've got this. Okay, there. This is going to be easier now. Take this section. It is a slight triangular section. Okay. And I'll try and get my arm out of the way so you can see it. I'm going to put my arm way up. I want you to see it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start from the bottom. But yeah, it doesn't matter. See it? And then I'm traveling to the top, and then the bottom is traveling to the top with me. Do you see that moving up right there? Then bring it down, all the way down. Put the band on. Yeah, I might not need two of them there. One. Yeah, I think I'm going to be able to do it with just one. That one section was really long, so I had to use 3. Okay, and you notice I did it in the same direction. The next one, I'm going to do it in the opposite direction. See how it lays right there on top of it? When I do it in the opposite direction, it's going to lay next to it. Maybe if I turn the mannequin like this, I hope, can you see it better? Is that a better visual, cameraman?
Yeah.
Okay. Better visual for you. Okay, so just a third of the way out. Long gray, that's a short gray, hang on. There you go. Okay, now this time I want to start at the top. Again, travel down with it, keep going, all the way to the scalp. And this time, I'm going to go in the opposite direction, and you'll see that it will lay right next to it. Yeah, that one particular section where that curl was at, I knew that I had to use a third one, so I'm glad I did, but you remember, use a shorter rod. Okay, now I'm going to do it in the opposite direction this time. Okay, see those little hairs coming out? That means one more end paper. Make sure you capture them all so they're laying flat. And you see how that just slides right out? I hate these. Okay. Have I said I hate them? Here, let's see, it'll lay right next to it because you're going in the opposite direction, where instead of laying on top of it like this one is, it's on top. This one is right next to it. That's the only difference. The only thing about it being next to it, it's going to take up more space. And it's going to make it a little confusing for you as far as how you're saturating. Depending on how tight, or the retouch perm or the re-perm, because this is going to then what? Run into that. When you saturate this, it's going to drain into the next one. So possibly you do want them on top as opposed to next to it. So you can think about it, determine that. You're not going to saturate. If you do that, put them all in the opposite direction, then don't saturate this, because that will run down into it. But if you do it on top of it, go ahead and give it just one squirt, just one line across. You know how we usually go back and forth, do the Z's on there? You don't have to do that. So if you have any questions on this, any comments on it, the perm turned out beautifully. And I'm going to tell you something. Okay, now see that? Okay, there. Bring it around, bring it around, bring it around. Now what's going to happen sometimes is the hair will start turning, spiraling within itself. It's okay if you have a little round piece, because that gives it just a little more flair when you're finished, actually. So it's not a bad thing. And I'm going to take this one in the same direction. When you do this, now look at that long end I've got right there. So I may just, because that is going to make me crazy, because I know I'm going to have all these little hairs coming out. So I think I'm going to put 2 of them on there. And that's what you look at, because otherwise you would be trying to pick up those loose ends that don't want to come in. See, I'm doing them all in the same direction. Yeah. Oh, God. capture it. See, this hair is slick. All right, one more. Again, lengthwise to pick up all those little layers. If I do it the other way, it's not going to pick them up. This time use the short one. Same direction, it's going to lay on top of it. And yeah, I've got some little squigglers there that didn't go in, which is annoying. But remember, on a virgin perm, you definitely want to be able to saturate that and work on it to make it go around. So these would then keep going back. Saturate it again. It gets to be annoying with the, again, this mannequin, this pretend hair. It's more work. Okay, third of the way out. Fold it in half. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start bringing them forward. You'll also be able to see it a lot better when I do this. See it? All right, wind it, turn it, wind it, turn it, wind it, turn it, wind it, turn it, wind it, turn it. Stay there, sucker. It's trying to fight me, but it's not going to win. Oh, come on. Synthetic hair. Okay, see, it tries to slide out. There, see, it slides out, but I'm going to push it in there anyways. Okay, this time, lengthwise. Why? Look at all those layers. Okay. Ah, come on. All right, I'll have to get another. I might not. Yeah, I do. I have to get another paper in there. You see, it's already dry. It's already dry. I hate these mannequins. Have I said that? Okay, there you go. Now it's going to lay, like I said, on top of it. I went into the same direction, so it's laying on top of it. It's a true piggyback. Okay. So let's keep going. These are all coming forward. And what I'm going to do, the other side's going to be done identical, so we're not going to worry about showing you that. But I am going to leave it overnight. I have no idea what this will do. I hope it curls, because we'll come back on tomorrow morning and let's see, turn it, feed it, turn it, feed it, turn it. Almost like a curling iron, isn't it? Feed it, turn it, feed it, turn it. Yeah, one way to identify it, because it's how I teach thermal curling too. Feed and turn at the same time. Come on, sucker. See, it came out. It's not going to win. There. Remember, this synthetic hair has no brains. Brains are up here somewhere. Alright, and it's already dry and it's making me crazy. I'm going to take this mannequin and throw it out in the freeway. See that? Does not hold moisture, and it's weird, it's not dripping. You'd think it would be dripping for you to see that moisture coming off. Okay, another end paper right there to capture those. Pull that through, and again, it's on top of it. All right. Now here I have an option. I could take them and go in this direction and come down. I could take them and bring them forward. They're going to be close to the scalp anyways. They're going to fall forward. So the biggest thing that I'm thinking here is, do I want to do 3 more rods or 5 rods? And I think I'm going to go ahead and do the 5. So I'm going to start at the bottom here. And the reason I'm doing this more, the other side I'll just bring forward, is for you to see it visually, what I'm doing. Okay, look, I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way. There it is. Okay. See it? Turn. Feed and turn. Feed and turn. Feed and turn. Feed and turn. And then do this in the same direction and just spiral it. It's on top. So that's what I would just do here, all the way across. It looks like it is just going to be 4. I would have done 3 on the other side if I'd have done it the other way. That was going to be 5. I hope you've gotten something from this. It really does save you time in doing this. I'm going to tell you something. I don't usually share this information, but the client that I gave that perm to was so happy with it and felt so good about her hair not being fried, because that was her biggest concern, was that she had gotten a re-perm before and they just spiraled the whole thing, saturated the whole thing, and that was her problem. She was very concerned about doing it again. She left me a $50 tip. I've gotten large tips before for doing other services in hair, but and I've gotten $50 tips before. But when you make a client so happy that that's why they give it to you, that's worth doing. Okay, see, I'm at 1/3. And see, I'm feeding and turning. So that was, I don't know, it made me feel good about it. Made me feel good that I took the time. Made me feel good that I did the consultation. Don't just do the hair. Talk to your client. And the one phrase that you need to say, this is what I'm hearing you say. Because then they know that you're truly listening and you're truly caring about what they need. Don't just get started on it. I got a lot of experience in this industry, and I love it. If I don't know stuff now, it's too late. I mean, but I'm always receptive still yet to learning. I'm receptive when I watch somebody else do something that I'm thinking, okay, how in the world did they do that, man? I want to know how. And some of it, yeah, it takes practice. But don't ever close the door to learning. I don't care who you are, where you are. And don't be one way either. There is no one single type of hair. There's a variety of hair. So, leave yourself open for that, to learn more. I've been doing this for 54 years. Should I not know something? Look at that. Look at that sucker coming up. Don't buy a synthetic hair mannequin, whatever you do. Especially tomorrow when we take, look at that little stupid thing still fighting me. Especially tomorrow when we take this down, if this hasn't curled, oh man, I'm gonna take this mannequin, I'm gonna cut every hair off. Because that is just ridiculous. I mean, I know it's plastic hair, I get it. But even when you crumple up plastic bags, they stay wrinkled. Okay, anyways, that's on top. So I got another one here, see that? I gotta fix that. So I'm gonna take that out and I'm gonna put another end paper on there so that's not like that. So this side, that's just gonna be coming, it's gonna be going back, and then from the apex forward, it'll go forward. And that's just for control. That's just so the rollers don't come out or anything. So tomorrow, when you see me again, which will be tomorrow, is when we're gonna do this, but when you see me again, we're gonna take it down. I'm gonna show you how to take this down. I'm gonna demonstrate how to saturate it. You can kind of see it. You see where the white rods are. The gray rods are all you're gonna really saturate. You might do one line on the others, but that's all. You don't need to do more. Now, I wanna talk to you about neutralizing too. Now, when you have, you know, so many perms, they've got little bags that you put on top. You wanna put the bag on there. All right, so after, let's say, perms usually stay on about 15 minutes. You want to check it after about 8 minutes. I will tell you, I don't want you to do this till you develop a knowledge of it or a comfort zone of it, but I don't use a timer. There's always music in the salon. I count my songs. 3 songs are about 8 or 9 minutes. All right, so and I look at the clock. Of course I do. I look at my watch to make sure. So don't be foolish about it. But when you set a timer, and I saw this the other day, the stylist was just visiting and just talking to the other stylist and stuff and sitting around, and her timer went off and she wasn't paying attention. And her client says, excuse me, he had to say it like about 3 times. He says, your timer went off. Well, how did that make her look? All right, that client at that point felt, I've got this stuff on my head and she's out there messing around. Don't do that. That's not professional. You know, sit and talk with your client. Go back and check on them. Don't just walk away. And yeah, sometimes there's nothing to talk about. Sometimes, you know, but the main thing is walk back, smile, would you like some water? Are you doing okay? Do you want a magazine? They'll let you know. And they just say, okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Be back in a few minutes. Don't just say it. All right? But until you get used to working without a timer, please use a timer. But I mean, normally I don't. And after the first song and a half, I'll go back. Yeah, well, after a couple songs, I'll go back and check that first perm rod I did, the first one and the last one, to see how they're doing. And yeah, I mean, you know what's happening. Same thing with foils. Check the first one and the last one to see what's going on. The hair on top of the head is going to be weaker. The hair at the nape is going to be stronger. This is out in the weather all the time. This is protected by the rest of the hair, especially the longer hair. So be aware of these things. Don't just take it for granted. Look at this little sucker. It's driving me nuts looking at that thing sticking out. But okay, we'll see you guys a little bit later. These, you'll see it how it's wrapped tomorrow in the morning and stuff, and we'll take the bottom ones out first to see what they've done. I'm going to really moisten it today, but I will demonstrate, well, you can see it. I'm not going to saturate these. I'm just going to saturate the gray. I'm just going to take my bottle, saturate the gray, saturate the gray. Where you're going to have a problem is back here, because you're going to have your client tilt her head forward for you to do it, especially if you do it at the shampoo bowl or if you do it at the chair. Pump her up. Make sure that she's got enough cotton. That's another factor. I see stylists, the cotton is totally saturated with product. Why are you putting product on the cotton? The cotton is not getting permed. If you're saturating so much, and don't just stand there and keep going over it. Saturate, saturate, saturate. 1 squirt, all of it, then go again. And then go a 3rd time. Okay? Then if you have, and you should probably with the perm like this, you're going to need 2 boxes when they've got really long hair. So once you open up the 2nd box, saturate 1 more time, and that's when you hit the white ones. All right? That's when you give a little bit to them. If your cotton is wet, the only area that should be wet is this back here where it's gone down. You don't want this cotton so saturated that it's running into their face. That's why I'm saying. And I was teaching it one time, and there was a young man. He was doing a perm, and I just saw that cotton soaked. So I took him to the side a little bit later, and I demonstrated to him on another client how to do that. And it was hilarious because he was this tall, really nice looking young man, and I'm thinking, men in our industry do very well, especially the really hot ones. They do very well. Anyways, nothing against us women though. Anyways, a little bit later, a couple days later, he was doing another perm, and he says, Miss Voigt, come over here. So I went over there, and he says, look, cotton isn't wet, and I've used most of my product. So, and this was a little old lady with fine hair, so, you know, he still had about a third of the product left. So be careful on how you saturate. You don't want to destroy that hair. Once that hydroxide bond is broken, it's like breaking your arm. You know, you've just taken that bone and you've broken it. And it's got a scar in it. So, you know, be aware of that. So we'll see you guys in the morning. Take care.
There you go.
Okay, one thing I did, I put the mannequin under the dryer to help hold it, but some of my bands were not doing too well, so they broke. That's what happens when when you have perm rods for a long time and stuff. So a couple of them did that. You can see that it did nothing, but let's see. I put it under the dryer to heat up that plastic hair, and that's all you're going to get. When you have synthetic hair, I mean, this has been on there. I put it under the dryer, let it cool. We're doing all this stuff. It's not going to happen. All right, but what I want to show you, the whole idea by doing this is to show you how to take it down. You're going to take the white ones off first. So, and the reason for holding it with the band down when you do it, see the band down when you put it in, they're easier to take off because it's up there. If I was reaching for it down here, it makes it more difficult because then it would be hanging off the top. You see, I mean, if this was turned around, see, then it would be hanging as I'm trying to take it off. That's why the band is on the bottom, pull it off on top. We got a little bit of a curl, but nothing to say that it looks at all like it should as far as a spiral perm wrap. I know I was going to show you how to saturate. Now, when they get stuck like this on the other one, just move on. Don't stay on it, because that's going to come off in a minute. Oh, just throw them over there. That's going to come off in a minute when I take the gray one underneath down. But when you saturate, you want to just stroke it once. I mean, I'm sorry, you're going to do the gray one, not the white one. You want to stroke it once. You don't touch the nozzle to the hair. That's a state board thing. But you're just going to stroke it once. Then go to the next one, the next one, the next one. Then come back and do it again. Stroke it again. I know that we have this thing that we normally do. That's a little out of control. Remember, we have a previous perm there. So if you have a previous perm, you don't want to oversaturate that. We only want to refresh that. So on the gray ones, we would saturate it once, whole head, then do it again, and then do it a third time. You're going to need another box for this. So when you open up the second box, now once the hair starts dripping, and you'll see it, there will be no doubt in your mind, you'll see it start dripping. Kramerman, you want to turn on that lamp right there? That one isn't on. I want to make sure I've got the light that I need. Is that better? Or is that too much light? No, it doesn't matter. Okay, so anyways, you want to make sure that once you see it start dripping, it's full. If you saturate it too heavy, it starts dripping right away because the hair can't absorb it that fast. You do want to slightly mist the hair to make it damp. Damp hair takes it in quicker than dry hair. All right, so those are all little factors. So you want to dampen it first, just dampen, just mist it once, you know, to make sure that you hit all of them, and then saturate. But you're going to saturate once, on the gray. You're going to do all the gray. You're going to do it a second time. And then when you get ready to do it the third time, then after that is when you only do it once on the white one. Now, if you have a whole lot of product left, don't open up another box. You know, you just use common sense with that. But you're probably going to find that the one is going to go twice, and then you'll need to open up another box. I mean, you might have a little bit left over, but you know, like you'll be able to do it like 1.5 times before you need to do the other one, or you might do it 2.5 times. But the biggest thing is once it starts dripping, don't do it anymore. You're done. Go ahead and then put that one on the white one. And you can see it. You can see that it's wet. You can see that it has soaked in. There's not a lot of hair. Now, the double is on the gray, because remember, we wrapped and turned. So we were actually feeding that hair in while we were wrapping that perm. I hope this helps you a little bit. We're going to cut off for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and take it down for you to see these sad results. There's a little bit of a curl, but you see where that one, the rod broke, and it didn't do what I wanted it to do. But you take the gray ones off first. And let me show you. I was telling you that like once you take the gray one off here, watch that white one come off as well. Because see, it's kind of stuck on the gray. There you go. I've got both of them. So you see what I mean? They both came off. So don't let it frustrate you. And there's just not a lot of curl. You're going to get a lot more curl than that if you do it on real hair. This is plastic synthetic hair. So you're not going to get what you want out of it. But you've learned procedure. Good luck with this. Take your time with it. You know, and if you have any comments, any questions, please ask. One comment you might have, which I thought about as this was cooked, you know, under the dryer and stuff, you might say, well, if you piggyback it, couldn't the hair break off? Well, I want to tell you something. If this hair that you piggyback is weak enough that it's going to break off, for goodness sake, don't saturate it again. And should it be getting a perm, if this is going to break off. So, you know, this is part of your professional realm as far as what you're doing with hair. So yeah, it could break off if it's damaged enough. So if it's damaged enough, that person has no business getting another perm on that part of the hair shaft. The ends are the weakest point. The ends are farthest away from the scalp. When you've got hair down to their hips, yeah, those ends, and then you ask them, do you brush? Well, no, I don't. And that's usually the answer. You have to brush. You have to use professional product. There is a difference. You know, commercial product is just meant to cleanse. It's not meant to do more. It's not emulsified long enough. It's just sold. So, you know, be aware of that. I had a lady I was talking to, as a matter of fact, a few days ago, that she was in trying to pick up some shampoo. And she said, well, what about this clarifying one? I think I'm going to get this one. And she had bleached hair. She had highlights, pretty heavy highlights. And I had to tell her, I said, you know what? We use the clarifying shampoo to remove any residue from the hair before a chemical service. Your hair's already highlighted. Do you want to remove anything that it might have on it? It's not meant to condition. It's meant to remove. So there's a reason for the word clarifying. So anyways, good luck on this. We're going to close for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and take it down. You get to see what I've done. But like I said, take the white ones off first. You see that one broke again. My cheapy things. I'm going to take this little one off. And okay, it's stuck. So I'll just take the gray one off first. And it should let it out. And yeah, you may end up having a little bit of a problem. Just be patient with it. Be patient with it. You have a whole lot of hair right there that you've kind of, you know, wound around it. And just, you know, take it off the top, which is what I'm doing, taking that off. This is pretty long hair. But it will make an absolutely gorgeous gorgeous perm. Yeah, I've got some little bits of hair stuck here. Let's see, my rods are coming right out. That would be going right into the shampoo bowl. It's my little hook up here that was stuck on it. So just take this white one out, and then I'll take the other white one. See, but normally they come out pretty good, but you can see with this mannequin, yeah, we're not gonna get any curl. It's plastic, synthetic, nonsense. I hate it. But at least you've learned the procedure. So we'll be back in a little bit. I'll take it down.
Okay.
Okay, so I saved the best for last. See how I'm taking off all the white ones first. Now, as you take them off, especially if you're traveling up, go ahead and take the one underneath off. That will keep it from tangling so quickly. And where I'm throwing the rods right now, I have 2 colanders. One for the gray, one for the white. Right now I'm just kind of mixing them up because it's just kind of easier. So take the white, then take the gray and travel up with it. That's why you start from the bottom and come up. And if it gets tangly, don't get frustrated with it. Move on to the next one. And then when you're done, then go back. Another thing that I have seen, I still see stylists do, and for the life of me, I don't understand. You notice I'm taking out the rod, putting the papers in my hand, then those papers go in the trash. I saw a stylist just recently taking down a perm. I went to shampoo my client, and there's the perm rods with the paper still in them in the shampoo bowl. And it was, the least to say, annoying. Now here's one that's got this smaller one. See it on the end. And then the other one. So you know that I used 3 rods on that one because I had a small one. And then I go to the last one there. So basically all this did was give this mannequin a wave. It did not really, you do not use, I mean, this would be a pretty solid or pretty tight curl. Now sometimes what it tries to do, it tries to get hooked up on either the band, so just take your time. You start getting all worked up and stuff, and then all you're gonna do is get yourself frustrated. See, now because of the winding, you're going to get that little bit of a variable, see? So I'm going through and gently taking that hair out of there. Oops, let's do the white one first. And then the very last one here, gray. So you would just use the 2 colors. It's just a wave. I mean, that's all we got. I guess something's better than nothing. Can I still do something with this? Yeah, I can still pull it up. Have some nice curls in there if I want to do a style or whatever. But with real hair, it's going to be, look at the size of the curl is the size of the rod. So think about it. Those would be real short curls. This hair would have popped up a whole lot more. So we ended up with a rod size of maybe a peach rod or a bigger, and sometimes you can find those much bigger rods. But you've got the procedure on how to do a piggyback spiral wrap. The good part is you're actually spiraling about 6 inches of hair. Then that type of hair, you can take it right to the scalp. So your subsections can be the length of the rod. That's what's cool about this technique. The other question might be, well, why can't I use loop rods? Because then I can just loop it all in there. Well, what are we talking about? What are we trying to preserve? The ends. If you use a loop rod, you're going to saturate the ends with the same amount of product that you would the scalp. This is where your client will then respect you and realize you do care about my hair. We're hair doctors. We're hair surgeons. This is surgery on the hair. It's going deep. It's breaking it. It's changing it. All right? So, be aware of that. So the care that we take becomes important, and that separates you from the ones that either don't know And when you don't know, you don't know. So always be receptive to learning. Even as long as I've been doing hair, I still love to see somebody else work and wonder, how did they do that? You know, don't ever stop learning. But good luck with it. Take care. I hope it works out for you. Be patient with yourself, especially in wrapping it. Remember, the band goes down so that you're going to hook it up. All right? Take care. God bless. I hope you enjoyed this video. Buy my book, please.